Roll call, we are all here. And John and
It looks like we
Rachel.
just lost Nancy.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Well, that's okay. She'll come back. John and Rachel from staff also are joining us, but we'll kind of hang around and hopefully she'll come back here in just a second. I'm so much better since I switched to Comcast. It's frightening. Here comes Nancy. Watch the power go out.
Okay.
There you are.
Yeah, instead of a mouse, I have to touch the screen.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I've got it propped up and I just missed the little
that's
spot
okay.
for
Well, we're all
continue.
here and John and Rachel from staff are here. And the first thing I'd like to do is have us approve the minutes from our 5/24/2021 meeting. If anyone, does anyone have any, corrections or objections? If not, they're approved by acclamation. Okay. Then next, and I did this on purpose, I'd like to adopt the agenda, and I'm open with you guys to, are you satisfied with the way we're going to be doing things? Other than, I really want to handle the draft candidate application documents first, but if you want to
Linda,
yes?
I have a motion to
Okay.
amend the agenda.
Okay.
I would like to drop item 9, attorney opinion discussion.
Okay.
We have no budget. We can't get an attorney opinion. Only the board has a budget for that.
That's true, but I did find the state law, and that I sent it to all of you, and I have a copy of it to read. It had to do with, you specifically talked about what nicknames.
Yeah, but this, if we leave it in the agenda, then we'll talk about that stuff later. This is just, I don't think it's our business. And I move to strike it because there's nothing we can do with an attorney opinion.
I guess the reason I'm concerned is because the topic's already been raised about proper names. And if state law says that, hey, I can be Mickey Mouse.
And let's vote on this before we discuss the merits of the.
Okay, I'd like to do it before we get the applications back, though, for the candidates. I just don't want anything to occur when we do that, because you have to vet the candidates. So I'll let you remove it from here, but we're going to bring this back before we take a look at opening all of the candidates' applications.
Okay,
in September.
We need to vote on it. It's not my choice or your choice. It's our choice. So we need to vote on, I move we remove the attorney discussion item 9 from tonight's event agenda. All in
favor, you don't need a second motion.
Right.
Looks like there's 2 in favor and 2 opposed. Oh, you're opposed to, all right, you're all going to agree that we're going to drop it from the agenda tonight.
No, you asked who was opposed.
You're opposed to dropping it, and Lori's opposed to dropping it. So I get to be the tiebreaker. As long as we bring this topic back before we vet the candidates, I'm willing to vote yes to remove it from tonight's agenda. So therefore it passes, but I'd like an agreement from those who are in favor of it that we bring it back and discuss it before we vet candidates. Michael?
I don't see where we can be able to do anything with it at all. It's state law, so it's a waste of our time.
That's, how do I say it? That's true, but I'd like to have a discussion of how it specifically applies to us and people who apply for the board and who have their names on the ballot, that sort of thing.
It's still going to be a moot point because our bylaws and the state laws are what we are governed by, no matter how we feel, discuss, think, or anything, period.
That's absolutely true.
And that state law is for governments and we're not. We're a nonprofit. So that's
I don't know why, and that's why we need to have, we either have the discussion tonight or we don't.
Well, we've already voted to not have it tonight, so
Okay,
let's move
so
forward
we're
with the
all
agenda.
done. Let's move along. We're gonna postpone to a future date. Okay, so then can we then vote? Then do you have anybody have any other changes, or we can just go ahead and go through things? Then I would ask that we adopt the amended agenda with the removal of item number 9, the attorney opinion discussion. All in favor? Good job. So the first thing on here are the draft candidate application documents. And the first is a letter that goes to them. How do I say it? The first, in the second paragraph, there's this whole thing.
Are you going to put these up on the screen, or can you?
I don't know.
I've got so many freaking emails that I can't keep track of them.
Steve, can you share a screen with us?
I mean, yes, that is possible, but I'm in Michael's boat. There have been so many back and forth emails with the board of directors and all that jazz. I'm not even sure which document we're talking about. Is it the one that Nancy sent 11 days ago on the 10th?
Just a second.
I don't know that I sent anything other than the
I think the edits, I think it was this, this is something, it's an edit that I had. Let me see, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, are we talking about the one that starts July 2021?
Yes, July
Thank you for picking up
2021.
an application.
Yes, exactly. That's the document.
Okay, that's from you, and I never would have sent that.
Well, as I said, I wasn't sure which document we were talking about because
No,
again, everything got lost in my inbox and things went crazy.
That's the one that we're talking about. I don't know. I don't know if I can share. I don't know how to share. Help.
John,
to share,
you
there's a button at the bottom in the middle that's should be green that says share screen.
But then if I do it, I'm in full view and I can't.
How's that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes,
Woo,
we can see
yeah,
that.
thank you. Good job. So my first concern with this, and once again, I have asked the board to put on the agenda for the 25th, since June 30th is full opening, can we go back to regular staff hours? As you're probably all aware that we got lots of issues going on, but people have completely forgot that we used to be open 8 to 4:30. Those were our normal office hours. And you'll see that in a lot of our documents because that's what it was. So next week, I'd like to be able to, as soon as we get this approved, I'd like to give it to staff so they can start making copies. We have no applicants for the vacancy, so chances are we're going to have 2 sets of applications floating around out there, which I don't want to do. And I can only pray that we get 2 applicants next week by the end of, the middle of next week, Thursday next week. But so my question to you guys is, do we feel that we should just say by end of day, or do we just make sure one of us is there at 4:30, and if nothing else, we make sure that people can drop it off till then?
Do the bylaws say 4:30?
They say end of day.
Well, then our document should say end of day.
Okay, then will you change that and closes at end of day, end of business day, September 7th?
Yeah, end of business day is good, because otherwise they'll think it's midnight.
It's so, put a space in between day and September. It's
Get rid of the
just,
highlighter first.
I know. Can you get rid of this, it comes with the watermark. I don't know if you can get rid of that or not from the document. I kind of played around with that.
Maybe. I got to find out what layer that's on. That'll take me a while.
That's fine. We can move along. The next thing in the 3rd paragraph, Nancy, you added that it normally says that no grammatical or other corrective editing will be done to any submitted information. That's kind of been a rule for us. Otherwise, let's say you decide to you think that there's a small correction in a spelling or something, and somebody corrects it and it's not the right, what then? That's why we've made it a rule. I may go back to a candidate for clarity and say, do you really mean this? And let them send me the change. But as a committee member, we're not to mess with them at all. We just simply accept them as they're sent.
Okay, so you're saying as NNE chair, you can discuss with a prospective candidate whether or not that's exactly what they wanted to say or is their name spelled. But as a committee, we can't. So it's up to the NNE chair.
How do I say it? The chair is who they submit their stuff to.
Right.
There's nothing in the bylaws, there's nothing in the manual that says that the whole committee looks at each application.
I think we should leave it as no grammatical changes will be done once it's submitted, because that person has written what they want. We can't guess what they're thinking, saying, or whatever. We should leave it the way they wrote it.
Okay. What I'm thinking is somebody says, oops, I spelled my name wrong. Will you change it? You're saying the chair can change it. The way I read this is nobody could change it.
And the reason that is when I started doing this back in 2015, people sent us handwritten documents, and then the staff was expected to put that in the form for the booklet.
Yeah, I know that's old business though, because
I know, but I'm just saying, if I see something.
Okay, then maybe we can find another way to say this such that the chair will, I want to use entertain is the wrong word, but the idea being, should you find something you really,
I'd like to put in there, I'd like to say, an end sentence rather than putting it on us, simply stating in there that last sentence, please be certain, please, review your submittals before, I can't say that. I just, please review your submission for accuracy or something.
It looks like a drop dead no. I'm trying to plug in a computer. That's why I'm off over here.
Okay.
I think Steve's got a good idea there. Verify the
I
accuracy
do
of your
too.
application prior to submission. No corrections or grammatical errors will be edited.
Yes. That works for me. The
Okay.
rest of that, I think,
Highlighting the piece I just wrote,
I do
just so everyone
too.
else can see it.
and you can get rid of that other stuff below it, I think.
I think so
just,
too, but I want to make sure before I
yep,
nuke it all.
I know. I hear you.
Everyone's good with it?
You know,
I
I
think
get
it's a
thumbs up.
mistake, but I'm outvoted. We'll put it that way. I think
Well,
it's a mistake because it looks like no exceptions. But the way Linda explained it, there are exceptions.
if there's
mean-
something gross or if I have a real concern, I'll reach out to that person and just simply say, you know, especially example, a 500, the board members are allowed a 500 word vision statement. If I find one that's really short, like maybe only 200 words, I'll reach out and say, is this really the final vision statement you meant to submit? And if somebody tells me no, I'll let them have their other 300 words.
Okay, no changes may be initiated by the candidates.
If the candidate reads it and submits it the way that he wants it, we should just leave it alone and not make a
Yep.
whole lot of work for ourselves.
Yeah, and that's true, because it don't, you know, and it's just, I have to say, I think in all the years I've done it, I've reached out to 2 different people.
Okay, the entity chairman, okay, well, whatever. It's not that big a deal either way.
It's just, I don't want us to get into the, here should be a comma and no, this should be that. And
No,
if the entity may contact applicants if necessary.
okay, I was
How about
thinking
that?
you
Nice job, Steve. Nice
we
job.
have different word counts from different word processors. And if somebody is gonna say yours is 102, you're out.
Yeah,
That's
I
bad
just
news.
don't want somebody to submit a 200
Right,
words for a 100-word biography,
right, right.
you know? And as long as they're close, I'm not gonna, you know, we don't have, you know, how do I say it? There's reasonableness, being reasonable. I get where you're trying to finish a sentence like Steve was just doing there, and you might get to 102 words. Big deal.
Yeah,
So just to make sure I'm okay, I
Yes.
can delete the bottom 2 sentences I have highlighted here. We're okay with what has been written?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Then the next paragraph, let's see. Well, there's some truth to this. Candidates for position, there's that whole thing. You know, and if you want to leave that in order to be vetted for, we can drop that off and just say each candidate must be listed on the property deed. It just should say that.
yeah,
Because normally the property deeds match Sudden Valley. Basically, that's, you know, if your name is, for instance, Nancy, you and your husband are on your deed with 2 different last names.
that's right.
And that's the way that if you would, and when you apply for something, that's the way I expect I can go and find it. And it's the way the Sudden Valley records are also kept. just so everybody knows.
Yep, we have been very consistent
Yep.
throughout our marriage that we always, for anything remotely legal, it's separate. The only person who really pitched a fit was my mother.
I think you can just put a period there, Steve. I think each candidate must be listed on the property deed, period.
So I want to propose that we do like the deed for the property, because the property
Okay.
deed just feels like it's
Hey,
hanging.
no problem. You can do it that way. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I don't think any of the committee does either.
As
You okay
somebody,
with that?
as somebody who used to process them, it is the deed to the property.
What
Deed
now, Lori?
To the property. Thank you.
To the property. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Right, that's, so
Speaking
that's
as
what
somebody who does this officially.
I used to, 18 years.
Okay. So the next one is a decision of the committee here. In addition to the application, all candidates are asked to submit a maximum biography and photo to be submitted electronically by the deadline. I had to make it September 8th last year because of not knowing, Unilect had no idea who we were, what we were, whatever. But do we want to, if we close on Tuesday, the 7th, do we want to give them until the 10th, the end of the week, to get in their biography and photo?
I mean, if they have to have the application in by the 7th, why would they have extra time to do their biography? I mean, to me, that's part of the whole process.
Because it's well, we've always kind of given them time. Sometimes people withdraw. That's the next thing that's going to come up, is the withdrawal period.
Well, we can cross that bridge when we get there. But I mean, with this, like in today's, instant internet age, like I have no problem making it the same day.
I'll
That's
go
just
with the
me.
10th.
I'm just trying to give people time.
I
Yeah,
mean, submit an application to a job, you're gonna want to put the resume with it too at the same time.
Yeah.
You
If
don't,
you reach out to them afterwards and say, hey, here's my application, 3 days later, here's my cover letter, they're going to say thank you, and it goes in the circular filing cabinet.
You just, we would just simply say that they have to do this to submit electronically no later than September 10th. If they want to turn, if I see one coming at me, I just take and save them in a file once I get them. Because the thing that's scary is that we don't choose until the 7th. So that's why I think I'd like to have that little bit of wiggle room. There may be years where we end up going back to Zoom again and needing that extra time, and then you have to make it really tight. I don't know what y'all think. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying, if it's by the end of the week, then they've submitted their application, their disclosure of interest statement, and we've put them on the ballot in a certain order. They get a letter back then right away. And in that letter to them, I remind them that they need this. I just want to, again, be able to tell them what's the deadline.
I've done this before when I ran, and it took me a day or so to actually word it the way I wanted it, and I appreciated the extra day or so. So I would say the 10th. That's the end of the week. It's not going to hurt anything.
So, Michael, could you just walk me through your process here? Because I'm not understanding why we need extra time for this. Because we're giving them 2 months to submit their application, and this is, in my opinion, part of the application process. So I don't understand why we would give them extra time. Like, so you submitted all your application information and then waited to make your bio after the fact?
Well,
The only thing that's due back to us, Michael, Steve, is their application and the disclosure of interest statement. That's what we will see from each candidate when we open the envelopes on the 7th.
And
That's
that goes
all we
into
will see.
that goes into the office. It's mailed into Sudden Valley's office or dropped
Yeah.
off at the office. This way I had time to kind of a day or so to kind of get my wording, get my thoughts and everything laid out a little neater. And then I just sent it directly to Linda and she had all of it. So it's kind of,
It
I
is
understand
kind
what
of
you're
a
saying.
two-part
Either we're going to
process.
have to, we should do one of two things. We should either have it all come in once all together, period, or allow it to be done, get the application in, and then you have to the end of the week to get your bio and your picture.
I mean, like I could understand like if we only had like an open window, you have to get your application in within 3 days, and then having a later window where they can actually get this extra stuff in there. But I mean, the fact that they have a 2-month window to even apply.
Yeah, but some people don't have that. They might pick up an application, but they don't do anything with it, or they don't pick it up at the beginning of the application period.
But we make these documents available to everyone publicly, right?
Just a minute.
Of
Yes.
course.
A lot of people wait till the last minute to put their application in because they don't want to give away that they're going to run until the last minute.
The
But,
thing
I
I don't want, Steve, what has really been clean and 1 year, and that was in 2019 when I wasn't on the committee, somebody said it was okay to submit their application by email. So they sent it to the chair of N&E in an email, and because it wasn't from someone she knew, she didn't do it and get it on time. They redrew all the names. It changed the whole order on the
Yep.
ballot of people who had gotten their applications in on time. And I really don't want to get people sending me stuff electronically.
And then that person dropped out.
Yep. Because
They
of all
screwed
the
everything
footnotes.
up.
So I appreciate that history. However, I don't see how that changes any of the questions that I'm asking.
Well, then make it September 7th and everything has to be in on one day.
That's
Okay.
why I'm saying I don't
want-
understand
and
why
then-
we don't.
But then here's the problem. If they do that, they can't submit it electronically. The way it is now, all you do
Oh.
is cut and paste their bio and their
Yeah.
picture and their vision statement.
So you're saying that if I hand in the packet and then I send the email, it can't be dealt with?
I think it's going to be confusing for candidates, but maybe that's just me.
If
Nancy,
you
what
have
you
to
think?
send in the email, you've given away that you're running before the packet is opened.
Yeah, that's true. And
Does that matter?
It matters to some people,
yeah,
really.
I mean, realistically, you're running for a publicly elected position. Like it, maybe I'm the only one who's having an issue here. Like, Laurie, what's your opinion on this whole situation? Am I just being a roadblock for everybody else, or?
I'm seeing what you're saying because, like I said, it's like applying for a job and then coming back 3 days later and submitting your resume or your cover letter or whatever it's like. You would think that if you're applying for a job, you would submit the whole packet. I see what you're saying, Steve.
So I mean, if we want to keep it, on the 10th or whatever it is, I'm fine. I'm just, I guess I don't understand why we need to have separate dates and add an extra layer of complexity to something where we're already stating, hey, September 7th, have this stuff into us.
Because we're doing it in two formats. One is hard copy to the administration office, and the other is email to the N&E chair.
the documents, their candidate documents, I always leave the master. I have them make me PDF copies or just copies and bring them home and make a PDF. I always leave the original signed applications and disclosures for every candidate, for every office. I always leave that with administration, should anyone ever have any questions. To me, that's a document of the association where the essays, the bios, the pictures and the essays are just for information, for being put on the website, for being put in the views and that sort of thing. They're two different things.
Yeah, it has nothing to do really with the application. It's just so that it can go into the view on time. And I mean, it's
And
two
get put in the
separate things.
booklet. Because everybody's bio and picture gets put in the booklet.
Yep.
Are we okay with the 10th, or are we going to stick with having it? Because if we make it the same day, then it should be the same day.
I mean, my opinion is it should be the same day, but it seems like Lori and I are in the minority here.
Nancy, what's your opinion? I can't see you, but I know you're there.
I don't really care one way or another, though I do lean towards the 2 different days because they're 2 different formats. One's digital submission.
Yeah, and one's paper.
And one's hard copy paper. Plus, people are used to doing it on 2 different dates. So I could go either way, and I can.
Okay, I see Steve
Lori's.
changed it. I'm just worried that people are going to get confused, and it isn't going to be me now. I'll know what to do with this stuff. The problem is that there's going to be some other chair that has to deal with all this at some point at points in the future. And I want to make it kind of understandable for them.
I mean,
What's gonna be
what's in the
Nancy?
document is there, but it doesn't seem like there's any logical reason as to why we're doing it this way. But that's fine. We can go this route.
Logic? You want logic?
Logic? Oh, forget
Yeah, I
logic.
want logic in our bylaws.
That left
and
the
our
room
letters.
long ago.
It
So in
makes
the
sense.
next
I mean-
paragraph, we've got the 500-word essay. Do we want that due on the 10th also? And just make it clean?
I mean,
Yeah,
is there a
make it the
reason
same.
why it was the 8th and the 15th?
I gave them the how do I say it? I can't remember why. I think it's because last year it was so tight that I gave them extra. This time it's not tight, so I say that it's the 10th. They have to have theirs in on the 10th.
Let's
It's
make
just I
them
made it-
uniform.
It's an extra document that they have to create. Thank you.
Yay. Now we only have 2 different dates. That's better than 3 different
Yes,
dates.
absolutely. Now, here comes the last one, and that's candidate withdrawal. Do we make that by the 10th also?
We can't change it. It's in the bylaws.
What does it
5 days.
say about, I'm sorry, I haven't got my bylaws with me. I'm bad.
I'll see if I can find it, but it's in there somewhere. 5 days to withdraw.
So, I think it was in the manual before. I think we gave them like 5 business days. But I
If it
think
was
that
in
was
the
in the
manual-
N&E manual.
Oh, in the N&E manual rather than, yeah, that's right. It's in the N&E.
Okay.
But unless we change the manual, we can't change it.
I think you wanted to move it up, Nancy, but
And I still do, but unless the manual's
is
changed,
changed, then we need to talk about that because I'm kind of at my wit's end.
unless it's actually changed, I don't think we can put the change in the the letter, because then we got two different things going.
Then what does it say? Does somebody have the manual language handy?
I'm digging through it.
I'm pulling it up right now. After 2 business days ending the close of business on the second day from the drawing date, no candidate withdrawals can be accepted.
That's the new manual. The old manual that isn't in effect unless the new manual is
Oh, that's right.
accepted. It says after 5 business days from the withdrawing date, no candidate withdrawals will be accepted. That's 4.1.12.
I'm gonna run downstairs real quick and get my manual, my old manual.
I just read it from my old manual.
Oh, I know, let's maybe.
What
give the
page is
wording
this?
to Steve.
What page is this on in the N and E manual that we got?
In the hard copy old manual, it's page 10 and it's 4.1.12.
Well, apparently I don't have that one because my bylaws start on page 15.
Oh, this isn't bylaws. This
It's
is
the manual.
the N&E elections manual.
Ah, okay, I'm in the Sun Valley bylaws. Page 10, okay. Well,
Yeah,
Do
it
we
says after 5 business days from the drawing date, no candidate withdrawals will be accepted, which
we
is
have
something
that?
like the following Monday.
do we have
But-
that same language in the edited election manual that we worked on?
No,
Except we tightened up the time, and until that's approved by the board, we have to go with this old, the old manual. Do me a favor, Steve, write that in under candidate withdrawals, that you're gonna put in, let's see, after 5 business days from the drawing date, 5 business days from the drawing date, comma, no candidate withdrawals will be accepted.
I don't understand if we changed it in and I understand, I just don't understand. We've changed the N and E manual to say 2 days or something like that. And now we have it in this new form that we're going to give out.
Because the board hasn't approved it. Will you highlight that though, please? That's my whole problem. And
When are they going to approve that?
Well, that's the discussion for later in the meeting, once we get through these documents.
Okay.
yeah,
Because then we have to go back and change these documents after.
That's okay.
All
As
right.
long as something's highlighted that we may have to change,
All right.
and
Okay.
as long as we say end of day, business day, you know what? That's the bylaws say.
Okay.
Nobody can argue with that.
All righty.
Okay, so I have an issue with what we've got here, only because it doesn't actually set a hard timeline for people. There's nothing in this letter that actually says when the drawing date is.
Wait a minute. Can you push it up? Shoot. I'm dying here.
Michael, can you scroll up?
Roll
Oh,
up.
Michael's got it up.
Yeah, Michael's the one who's presenting at the moment.
Cool beans. All right.
oh, it's all in the N&E manual about the drawing date and all that.
No, it
stuff.
says the end of business day, September 7th, is the closing of the period. So it's in there.
Okay,
So someone who gets
Oh,
this letter
I
is supposed to
understand. Steve,
understand.
come down. I understand what Steve's saying.
There is nothing here that directly states that we're going to, after the 7th, what day do you actually draw?
Yeah.
You draw on the 7th.
Well, then that should be stated here in that line where it says,
I totally agree. I
it
totally
should say
agree.
after 5 business days from the
from the
drawing date of
of
September 7th.
September 7th.
No candidate may withdraw. And you should probably put September 7th, 2021, so they know it's
Yeah,
this
because
year.
it'll change periodically.
Yeah, you can get rid of the TH and put a comma there. All right.
All righty. It'll say, then the next one down, there will be 2 candidate forums. The forums are moderated by the communications committee. The specific formats, that's fine. Dates and locations will be provided later. Yep. That's strictly, I think somebody added formats and that guest can stay in there completely. We're done. We did it. And that's still subject to the NNE manual.
Okay.
Keep going down because there was some weird garbage on my copy. Letter to Kurt Oberleitner. March
What? Who?
11, 2010 appeared.
Steve, did you change that other line up higher too? Up here where they're all say 2021 now, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we're making that rule at some spots,
Yep.
anytime it's listed, it should be done in that manner. So
Yep.
I mirrored
Yep.
that across the board.
Yeah, I see you did it. Good.
So
we're done with this?
can somebody,
Maybe.
Nancy said something, there was something funny on hers.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
down to 2.
I think it's in the header. Just trying to figure out how to get to the header or edit the header.
Okay. I tried to get rid of it and all it did was put a big green X on it. Because I agree, I think it is in
Can
the
you
header.
scroll it to the very bottom, Michael?
We need to fix that, whatever that little blue thing is up there.
I know
that-
that what that is part of a watermark that are on these documents until they become.
But I mean, on the second paragraph, it says, and closes at end, and there's a blue,
At end of business day?
there we go.
At
Okay,
the end of business day, September.
there we go. Okay,
Gotcha.
so I will go
Yay.
Go
down.
way to the bottom.
And there's the,
Oh, I see what it is. Weird.
yeah,
I don't know what that is. Can you make that go away, Steve? And my Linda Bradley NNE chair shouldn't belong there either.
So
Not
just
that
John.
one, this one, yeah.
Blue.
All right,
That
just
should
all
be
that.
up above. It will probably correct itself when we do away with the watermark. Because that's offsetting everything.
Okay,
Steve, do you know how to get rid of the watermark? I think then it will draw everything up where it's supposed to be.
It's not the watermark doing that.
It's not.
No.
It's maybe the header instead of the footer.
There we go.
There. Oh, thank you.
Just not sure how high up it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I can fix. It's just
There it
to have a
went.
completed
Okay.
document. Okay, Michael. I think you're sharing your screen with us.
yep. What do you
Can
want
you-
next?
I want the 2021 AGM candidate application, that personal information statement, and it's also got the disclosure of interest attached to it.
Okay, as per what you got here on the thing, the next one would be bylaw amendment.
No.
no.
Sorry, what is it again?
2021 AGM candidate application.
And it has a number 5 in front of it on my copy.
5. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Here we
I'm
go.
in it.
That it?
Yes, it is.
Looks like it.
Can you get rid of that watermark right now, Steve, since you did the other one and you know where
Maybe.
it is?
I'm trying. There we go.
There.
Yep,
Woo-hoo.
figured it out.
Thank you. I think the first thing we have something on is it's like the second paragraph. Applications will be accepted for the period beginning July 6th, 2021 and closing September 7, 2021. And that's the way it should read.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else. You're gonna have to scroll through it. I don't think there's not until I think the only change comes way down in the end of the thing where
I just fixed the
yeah,
spacing
that
issue.
right here. Yep. Because it has all of Nancy's corrections. There's a watermark on this page, Steve. I don't know if you can get rid of it.
I can try and figure it out. But we're getting rid of the strike through stuff.
Okay. I don't know why that said or its subsidiaries. We're the association and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know of any subsidiaries unless you want to call the golf club a subsidiary. I think just the association should be it.
I think I totally agree. Anybody else object?
I'm happy to remove it. I'm just a little hesitant to strip out something that's been there because there is some precedent for it. And in case there's something we don't know about.
Well, we're going to talk about this last sentence here that's in here that we'll discuss even further because there are some times when there have been people that are part of the N&E committee and they put in there that you must sign a code of conduct. And until the board adopts one, to me, that I used to always put may in there and rather than just remove that whole last sentence. But to me, it could come out until we adopt a code.
So why don't we worry about that when we get to that sentence?
Okay.
So we're jumping ahead of ourselves. Or its subsidiaries. We're killing that. Everyone's on board with that.
I just don't know who our subsidiaries would be.
We don't have any. Maybe we did at one point, and that's what it's in there for. And don't these have to?
Oh, yeah, like when we used to have the resort operation. And it was
Yeah.
part of Sudden Valley.
Or the campground. We ran a campground.
Is the golf course a subsidiary?
To me, it's not, but it could be considered that.
I
I don't think it hurts to just leave it there.
I motion we keep it just because we don't know.
Yeah.
I want to know what it is, what the subsidiaries are, actually. I've never seen anything called a subsidiary. And what if there's a conflict?
Who would we even ask to find out what our subsidiaries are?
That's almost an attorney question.
Yep.
I'm going to look back. I've got a bunch of I have to where the N&E used to be called the N&E handbook back into 2000. Let me see if I can find in the documents at all, if it shows where this was ever added. I don't know why. I kind of agree with Nancy. I don't know why it's there.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say none of us know why it's there. And we've got two different opinions on this. Either A, we keep it because we don't know why it's there.
And it
Just
says
on the
it
off
up,
chance
and
that we
it
don't cause
also
legal
says
problems.
it up above.
Or the other side of it is we don't know why it's there, so let's strip it out. So, I mean, I think right now we've got 3 people are saying we should keep it just in case.
I said we should keep it.
Keep it.
Okay, we're gonna keep it, and then it's something we can look into. And then if you guys want to strip this out next year, peachy keen.
Yeah.
You know, when we find out exactly what does this mean? You know? So the last sentence deals with codes of conduct. We have argued, well, if you've been here any length of time, the board has argued about a code of conduct for forever. A couple of years when I was on the N&E committee, there was a code of conduct in place and you signed one. Right now, there isn't, and there isn't any obligation to sign it. I believe our attorney told us 1 year there was no way you could force a director to sign a code of conduct because it's not in the bylaws.
Yeah, and I remember last year.
Yeah,
when-
it gets ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly because what was called a code of conduct was actually a confidentiality agreement.
Yep.
You could not discuss anything, only
That was a gag order.
the board. And I just don't want to go through that again. And I think what we've got up there is firm enough.
Okay.
I honestly
Go
do.
away.
I do feel that we need a code of conduct so that people can't, on the board, like Eric did, go down and lobby for WECOA and stuff like that. So that really needs to be done, but it's not anything we can do in this document today.
That's true, but Nancy added a thing to the application that says, you know, what positions have you held? And I believe that includes something like working with CAI or, you
Yeah,
know, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do we still have board of directors signing confidentiality agreements?
No. There isn't
Okay.
one in place.
Yeah, last year there was a big discussion about it, and it was not a code of conduct. It was a confidentiality agreement.
No,
And
it was a gag order so that nobody could argue with the powers that were at the helm at the time.
You're
I just wanted to make
absolutely
sure that
right.
we
It was a
don't-
gag.
I'm just trying to make sure we don't have a gag order, because if we do still have that as something that needs to be signed, we should probably disclose that here.
There's nothing that's signed.
No.
And I want to get rid of that code of conduct just because I've seen it used to
Yeah.
represent a gag order.
So are we all in agreement?
I think we're all in agreement.
Cool. It's gone.
Thank you.
Okie dokie.
So
I'm gonna
there's
add a little
only
extra space for
one.
signature.
Yep, there's only one little yellow place on that, and it isn't there. It's in the actual letter. That's the date thing that we said we'd take a look at. But everything else, I don't think there's any dates. Yeah, because where you do your electronic submittals, it says instructions are there, so we're all good to go.
So you got rid of all those little watermarks. What's this little thing down here where it is, I am a member in SVCA in good standing? It should be of,
Oh, I see that.
right here.
Yep.
All right. I hate those little squigglies.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
We might as
I
well
think
have
we're done with these documents.
All right. So I'm gonna.
I really feel good because I feel, other than that one little change that maybe I've got it down. It's just, I want to be able to give this to staff early. There's so much stuff going on right now. I want to give them plenty of opportunity to print copies of this. There may be, depending upon if I don't have 2 applicants by the 1st of July, I'm going to have to run another candidate application with different dates in it once the board approves another 30 days.
I have a question, and maybe it should wait till we go after the application product, but I'll probably forget it then. And that's if you only have one application, what do? Just leave it there and hope for more? Or do you pick it up and put it somewhere?
How
Or
do I say? Right now,
open it?
right now they sit in the safe. If
Okay.
I only had one on the first, I would break my rule of not opening them ahead of time because that's a legitimate candidate, and contact that person and explain what's going on to them. I
Okay,
would hear it at a board meeting, but I would give them that courtesy and then confirm that they wish to have their application be held.
so
know,
they
but
wouldn't have to submit a new one.
No,
You
no,
hold
no.
their old one.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
just asking.
yep. So the next thing we want to look at, whoever's doing the sharing, is the bylaw amendment. That's our next order of business.
Is that this one?
Yes.
Yes.
As I'm doing these, I'm weeding out my emails.
Oh. So in the first paragraph, the only thing it's me that made these changes, that because it's a tense that this amendment would allow. It's just that if it doesn't pass, then that ain't going to happen. And that's why I just simply changed the allows to would allow.
I
Or-
got no problem with that.
Go ahead.
I said, I think would allow is better wording than allows.
And that's I think what originally allows was, I think, what was originally in there.
Yeah,
How does everybody feel about that? That we change the allows and the removes to would allow and would remove.
Sorry, I'm still trying to catch up with the doc. Hold
That's
on.
okay.
I got it.
Okay. What do we all think? Lori? Michael?
Yeah, I think it's proper grammar.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board with proper grammar.
Okay, would allow.
I'm going to let Steve do the actual document.
Editing. He's so good at editing, it's frightening.
I'd probably lose the whole freaking page.
Yeah, uh-huh. Been there,
Why-
done that.
And two
What's
or
up
three
with this
other
white
things
space?
on my computer at the
What
same.
white space?
Between some and members.
Huh?
Some on members.
Am I in the wrong document? Oh no, Michael says not syncing. Oh no, what? What's going on?
Are you not getting this document?
I'm in a document that's got the same name.
Huh?
I don't see you in that.
I see there. Is that you, Stephen, that just
No,
put the
that's
little
me.
cursor down?
No,
That's me.
Oh,
I'm in a
that's
different
you?
one.
Okay. This amendment would
voting
allow
bylaw.
all members regardless of standing. I think there's an extra space between standing and to vote, Michael, in that first sentence.
Yeah,
What date was this email received?
Somebody else has got to help me with this. I think it was right after we had our last meeting, Rachel.
Mine-
I think if Michael goes back to his inbox, we'll be able to see it.
Mine says any manual revise. Oh no, wait a minute. So I go back over here. Did that change? Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
I got this sent
May
to
25th.
On the
Okay.
25th of May.
June 11th. I sent it to me, but it was sent out on May 25th by Rachel.
Rachel.
And somehow it went to my Street Dogs account, so I found it, and moved it, but which is fine. So now how do I go back?
Rachel, would you be able to send me that email again, just so I'm on the same document, if you're available?
Which document is it? I'm sorry.
The bylaw voting.
Bylaw
one?
voting.
Okay, let me scan my email and then I will try to
Yeah.
find it and get that to you.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'll find it.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, I think I'm looking at revision 1. That may be why I'm having the problem.
When did I mail this out? That would
On the
help.
25th, I think Michael's trying to send it to Steve.
Oh, Steve, did that? I just sent it to you off mine. This is the one that I'm in right here.
Checking my mail. I need access. Oh wait, hold on. Gotta change over to that. And I still need
Michael's
access.
at items, so for any additional, then we should have, it should say items, not just an item. It should be the plural, correct?
Rachel, I just put in a request to view the document, if that helps.
I am going to try to get into account because I'm at home. I don't have my work laptop,
Oh, okay.
but give me a second. I think I can just log in.
It should have the S there, whoever asked
Yep.
that.
That's you in there, Michael, with the cursor, right?
That's me with the cursor.
Yeah.
And I lost my cursor. There it is.
Okay, Steve, I'm just gave you access. Let me know if that worked for you.
I'm in.
Okay, awesome.
Woohoo!
Okay, then I'm gonna get my little cursor out of there.
Okay, so then we're saying additionally, this amendment would remove when we refer to the bylaws, I think that's always supposed to have a capital B on it rather than a baby B.
Yeah,
I think there's an extra space between requirement and to in that last sentence.
Requirement and 2. And there is an extra space. And we got an extra one up there too.
Okay. So we're down to,
is there one there? Good eye, Steve. I just saw that one myself.
wow.
All right.
There's a bunch of them.
It's like you look at this stuff so long, it all looks the same. Okay, the ballot language. Shall Sudden Valley Community Association members amend bylaws, Article 2, Section 7 voting to allow all members to vote for directors, committee members, proposed budget items, and any other issues or items on an AGM or SGM ballot? Then are we going to then we're going to add that regardless of standing, correct, Nancy?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't the one who put it in there.
Oh, all right.
That was Michael.
Yeah.
That was me, yes.
Yeah, and then remove the extra paragraph.
But this part?
No, just move it up. I had 2 separate lines.
Okay.
And that's something
It's
we
up
need
now,
to
right?
discuss. It's really kind of bizarre. It's written in a whole paragraph in the bylaws. But this is really 2 separate questions we're asking them to vote on. It's kind of bizarre. Nancy, am I dreaming or am I making sense?
No, it is odd to have it merged together into one paragraph in the bylaws. And I think that happens when people want to save space
Yeah.
and add something.
Do we want to put, rather than having to divide it up into a separate little line by itself, do we want to start out that sentence where with shall, should we put furthermore, shall the requirement to allow in-person at the meeting floor voting on ballot issuer items be removed from the bylaws?
I like
Those are two
furthermore.
separate things.
Huh?
Aren't those two separate items?
No, it's all, if you read the bylaw itself, it's all lumped together.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's way down at the bottom of the page if you go look.
Yeah. Well, let's put furthermore and
Either furthermore or additionally,
Oh, additionally would work too, either or.
whichever.
Additionally is probably more modern.
Additionally, what about including?
Oh, that too. Hey, Nancy. Oh, good job.
so then there would be a comma, wouldn't there be, at regardless of standing, comma, including the requirements, the requirement to allow in person.
Oh, and then you do turn it into all one like it is in the bylaws. Good job, Michael.
Yeah, that works.
Yep. Because they've got it, because it's all lumped together in the bylaws. You'll be able to see that when we get to the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Yep.
Then we're stuck on explanation and purpose. And I just
Yeah.
don't know.
My idea is just neither paragraph. I don't like what you wrote and you don't like what I wrote. So let's just dump the idea of a first paragraph.
I
And
like the blue and the blue lined out stuff myself. For too many
Okay,
years.
I
the bylaws have
can
been-
live with that. For too many years, the bylaws have restricted member participation in the election process. I would agree with that.
But
The problem is that turns it into something that's been ongoing. And
Yeah.
this is going to be presented as a reaction to WICOA. And
WICOA what forced this whole thing.
right. And if we make it sound like, oh, we're finally getting around to it, it's not really a reaction to WICOA or whatever it is.
But in a way, WCOA also, that's what's weird, because I was thinking about this. WCOA includes the whole membership of the association. So then why should we not have our bylaws say, fine, everybody gets to, we do away with this. You have to be current in your dues. You don't have to be current in your taxes to vote in a state election.
No.
You can
If
own
we
billions of dollars.
If we just dump the first two lines and go straight to, it only takes 5 directors to adopt a proposed budget with dues increases and place it on the ballot.
Let's take all that out of there for now, and then we'll start with that.
I kind of like some of this that's here, though. I liked what Nancy writes here too. It gives kind of an explanation. It says, with the changes in state law regarding budgets that require a percentage of the votes within the association, regardless of the standing, it is time that all members are allowed that equal standing vote on any ballot item. I like that.
Also, it's kind of a combination of all that.
It is.
I'm lost.
That is
on
the
what we're
explanation
doing.
and purpose. Since the law changed, now that require a percentage of all votes in the association. This way, regardless of standing, it's time for all members to be able to vote on all the voting issues. I mean, they changed the playing field, so now we need
Yeah.
to
And all we're trying to do is change our bylaws to reflect that then it's consistent.
Yes. I think that's a very good line there.
As long as we get rid of the for too many years portion,
Okay,
because that changes the focus.
Yep,
Okay.
it does. So get
I
rid
think you
of
can get rid
Like
of the
that?
top sentences in pink too, Steve. I think that's just Nancy's comment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
because if you make
Changes to
it
state law
too,
regarding budgets that require a percentage of all votes in the association regardless of standing. It is time that all members also are allowed that equal standing when voting on any other ballot items.
Period or comma. Directors, bylaw amendments, and special assessments. That's perfect.
Period. Wouldn't that be a semicolon?
Huh?
sorry,
Ah, I do.
Regardless of standing.
I don't understand what you mean by a percentage of all votes in the association. With changes in the state law requiring budgets that require a percentage of all votes in the association, regardless of standing, it is time that all members are allowed that equal standing when voting on other ballot items. That part's fine.
Oh,
But-
I kind of understand. What I'm trying to say is it takes a majority of all votes in the association to reject an adopted budget. And it doesn't make any difference whether you're current in your dues or not. All people can vote on the budget. There may be a better way to say that.
Yeah, because I don't understand what you're saying. With changes in the state law regarding budgets that require a percentage
Because
of all votes in the
originally-
association, regardless of standing.
But it used to be you voted for the budget, then you voted for assessments separately, right? And we
Right.
don't do that anymore. They rolled the assessments into that. Everybody votes on the budget.
Okay.
There's probably a better way to say it. I agree.
Yeah, there is. We just go with changes in state law regarding budgets, comma. It is time that all members, regardless of or that all members are also allowed equal standing or allowed equal standing.
Forget the standing, that all members are allowed to vote on everything.
Right, okay. It is with changes in the state law regarding budget, it is time that all members are allowed a voice.
When voting on
Well,
any
okay.
other ballot items.
I mean, basically, we're doing this to make it so they're not silenced anymore and they're able to actually
Yes.
have a voice on these things.
Yep.
And this line that's blued out here is absolutely true, but
I don't know if it's appropriate though.
it's not. We
That's
all
all I'm
know
afraid of.
that, and we know who it's directed at. So
Yep. You know, and that's the trick to all this is some of this is, we know what this is. It's just, do you really want to put that in there? Is it something that should be considered?
it just reopens
Yeah.
all
Yeah, the whole can of worms.
the wormy mess. Yes. The law is the law. We're never going to get rid
Yep.
of WICOA, unless Senator Peterson drops dead or gets ran over by a bus or something.
Okay, instead of and on any other ballot items, it is time for all members are,
All.
get rid of that also.
Oh, I see what you're
For
saying.
all
Yep.
members are allowed.
Yep, that's good. That's a good line right there.
But you want to say here, voting on you want to take away the second all, right, Nancy? That's right before ballot items?
I want to take away the also after all members also. So
Agreed.
it reads, with the
Like that.
change in state law, it is time that all members are allowed a voice when voting on all
ballot.
ballot items.
Oops.
Do you want that left in there then? That second all, a
Yeah.
voice when voting on all ballot items?
It doesn't need to be, but it can be. All ballot items, get rid of that semicolon. Because it's a
I would
series.
leave all on all ballot items. Get rid of that semicolon, put a comma there or
Oh, no, not a
Are you sure it shouldn't be a
semicolon.
semicolon? Because it's
Two
listing off the
dots.
things on the ballot, right?
Yeah, all ballot items, colon, directors, bylaw
Oh, yep.
amendments, and
Okay.
special assessments.
Yeah,
That's, yeah, and that's not too pedantic so that
No,
people will
it's
go,
not.
oh, yawn. I'm not gonna
makes
read
perfect
anymore because you made me read state law.
And it's also succinct and directly to the point of why we're doing it.
Right, okay. Now
Yep.
we can tear apart the rest.
well, the next one's got lots in it. Let's see, it only takes 5 directors to adopt a proposed budget with dues increases and place it on the AGM ballot. 5 directors can have whatever dues amount the 5 directors want. We need to fix that somehow, but I think that I understand Nancy's point completely. That even if a majority of the membership, when they have a town hall or something, thinks it's a bad budget, if 5 of them vote to put it on there, it's on there.
And it will pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we trying to say with this chunk? We're all over the place with the language here. So-
I know.
We're just
Well-
basically trying to say the budget will be approved by 5 directors. We want to make sure you're voting for the right people, or like,
Well, what COA did was and that being in good standing did was they were only allowed to vote for the budget, right?
Yep.
Not for any of the directors.
Mhm.
Or
And the idea-
bylaw changes or anything else.
and
Even a special assessment, if it's separate, they can't vote on it.
it's to show that what we're trying to say is that people not only need to vote on the budget, but they need the ability to vote on directors that'll actually represent the majority of the homeowners out here rather than something else. I don't know what the word would be.
Oh, I see where Steve's going with this. Good job, Steve.
That had
Steve.
should be have.
I'll get to it. I'll get back to it. I gotta
Okay.
try and get the brain
Yeah,
working on
hear,
this.
but I see where
Um,
you're going with this.
Um,
It's just a nicer way of saying it all, that it's become more important than ever for members to be able to vote on their board of directors.
um, something like that.
Something like that. You need to go back up to where you say, with this change, let's see, with this change, because of state law, the budget is adopted. It's never approved, it's adopted. And that's specific state law language.
Cool.
The board can't approve it, but neither can, that's what's so crazy about this state law. Nobody approves the budget. The board adopts it and the membership can only reject it. It's the most convoluted upside down thing I've ever heard of, but it's what is.
I think it's was to vote, but that's nitpicking.
Was to vote?
The only voice they had was to vote.
Yeah,
To
I
approve
think
or
so.
deny,
Yeah.
rather
Cool.
than were.
Is
That's
to
a good
rectify
paragraph,
this
Steve.
imbalance. Good job, Steve. 10
With this
damn
change,
points. Good job.
The
So we
board.
get rid of the rest of that next paragraph then, right?
Yeah, we can make that whole paragraph, the pinky paragraph, go away. That's got the pink in it and start with our bylaws. And maybe then we see, do we even need that?
I mean, my hope is to get this as succinct as possible because the more words we have there, the less people are going to read it.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree.
Oh, come on, unless you make it very inflammatory. They'll read it if it's inflammatory and they understand that it is. But
So should I
Yeah,
like
but-
add your father was a hamster and your mother smelled of elderberries? Like throwing some Monty Python stuff here?
now, if it's shorter, that would be better. Yeah.
Okay, we've already covered this first sentence.
Yeah,
Second sentence. That's a moot point now.
Yeah.
I like leaving that our original bylaws, but to capitalize B in bylaws, gave all members a voice on budget increases. And that's true because it would divided it into two parts. Assessment
Right.
budgets and
Yeah,
assessments. I think we need to remember that
Yeah.
our original bylaws gave all members a voice.
So get rid of the first line, our bylaws down to budget vote.
To budget vote. Budget vote. Can you highlight budget vote? I'm just not seeing it.
All the way to here. See
Okay,
my
thank you.
cursor?
Oh,
Okay.
good job, guys.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Leave the original bylaws. We could get rid of lobbyists. And leave the amending our bylaws to allow members regardless of standing to vote.
Yeah, if you take out that lobbyist thing, that what is left there is perfectly legitimate.
Yep.
Hey, the lobbyist stuff was legitimate too, but it probably
We
I
don't know that.
in this. It was fun to write though.
Oh, I bet.
Get it off your chest. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I'd like to tattoo it on Eric's.
Hey, what this was,
Okay, so, hold
was a letter I intend to submit to the Views with all that stuff in it. But the Views is a good place for it as opposed to
Go ahead, Steve.
a
I
ballot.
think the third paragraph isn't needed. I think we can actually move the first sentence of that paragraph. This part
Oh, and
here,
make it all one paragraph.
and put it here.
Oh,
So
I see what you're, I like that. I see what
Oh,
you're
yeah,
going.
okay.
I think that accomplishes the same thing because we're repeating ourselves.
Yep, yes, we are. And you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Are we okay with the way that reads? Okay, I'm gonna kill this part then.
Yeah,
Yep.
we kind of set it up above.
yeah.
Nice job. We should leave the next paragraph in there. None of us had any issues with that anyway. So the next one is just some little itty bitty. Currently, da 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 da. This is kind of confusing because it removes the requirement for floor voting, but does not prohibit it. I don't know if I want to get into that whole procedural bizarre thing. Larry Brown tried to explain that to me once and I still don't understand it. And I know we have to leave it in there I think because of the bylaws.
I
This
think we do, because the
This paragraph-
bylaws say,
paragraph here that's in there that I put in there, that's exactly out of our bylaws.
Sorry, the double spaces are killing me.
Yeah,
I know, it's okay. You do that. We're still thinking about this.
Okay, sorry, Michael, what part did you say that you copied from where?
this paragraph that you're moving the little spaces around in, that is right out of our bylaws, that
This
whole
one here.
paragraph.
no, it's not.
Yeah, there's a whole thing about people being able to vote on procedural issues.
Yep,
That's in the bylaws.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
in
it's
it,
really confusing.
but it's not a quote
Oh,
from the bylaws. Because what I'm trying to get across there is that instead of requiring the bylaw or floor voting, all the amendment does is remove that requirement. So if somebody wants to introduce floor voting via the election manual, they're free to.
but there's a whole thing in the agenda of the board at the very end that says only items on this agenda will be voted on. So they don't allow you to bring anything forward at the meeting.
Oh, no, that's not about bringing anything forward. That's being allowed to hand in a ballot
Mm,
at the meeting.
we got to make sure that's understandable.
Okay, I cleared out all the spaces that drive me nuts.
I understand what you're saying, but to me, it's still confusing.
Okay, so basically,
It should, if it says this amendment removes a requirement for floor voting, but does not prohibit floor voting on procedural issues. You have to,
Now, they're two different subjects.
I had a thing here. This Article 5, 1BI, is that correct?
I think it is.
the bylaws, right, you're asking?
Yeah, bylaw Article 3, A1, and then Article 5, 1BI. I think the formatting might be off on that.
A1.
Article 3. A1.
And this is.
Yes,
in-
that says they have to be in good standing.
Okay,
And
All right.
Article
Article 3,
5,
Section 1, and Article 5. Oh, Lord. Yep, that's correct also.
is that the right format though? Is it one?
Normally, they put the 1 and the B and they put the I then in parentheses.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
like subsection 1
Yeah.
of 1B.
Okay,
I just want to make sure it was correct.
This is just way too tedious. No,
Oh, it is, but that's part of the,
Yeah, I
the
know.
job, right?
that's what's lovely about it, huh? So
All right, so the purpose of this chunk, what are we trying to say here?
what we're trying to say is we no longer want there to be floor voting of ballots. But there's floor voting allowed on procedural issues at an AGM according to the bylaws.
Okay, what's the difference? What's a
Where's
procedural
Larry
issue?
Brown when you need him? Larry, he explained
What-
that to me once. it's like if for some reason somebody needs to delay the meeting. Let's say there was a tornado warning and the sirens went off in the somewhere and we had to leave the meeting. You would adjourn the meeting. That's procedural only.
It's a point of order. It's a procedural issue. Something like what you're proposing is illegal is a point of order. It violates our bylaws. So what we're doing is repeating what we did in the first part, that was additionally, this amendment would remove the bylaw requirement to allow in-person at the meeting floor voting on ballot items. Maybe that's what we need to be clear about, floor voting on ballot items.
Mhm. Okay, but wait. All right, hold on. So I guess the part that I'm struggling with here is why are we making this change? Is it to make it so we can try and get Unilect more involved here? Is it trying to open the door for online electronic voting? What's the purpose of
What
it?
happens with floor voting is only a ballot that you have gotten Saturday morning with a special mark on it, or in the case of last year, they were pink ballots as opposed to the white ones we got in the mail. You could take that upstairs and you could vote that ballot at the meeting, because normally at a normal AGM, the president reads through each of the motions that are being voted on. And then there's a little moment of silence where people have time to fill out their ballots. Then he moves on to the next measure. Same thing. And it's please vote your ballot. People get time to vote. Then a couple of people go around with boxes and collect those ballots. Only the ballots that come from downstairs Saturday morning that are recognizable are allowed to be voted. However, lots of people bring their mail-in ballots and turn them in. We don't tell people we won't accept them. We just let them put them in the box. They go downstairs to the counter and they're disqualified. So basically, you've nullified people's votes because they don't understand that process of being able to vote their ballots, and the fact that you have to get a special ballot the day of in the morning to be able to vote it then. When we had proxies, it was a very different process, and this floor voting business is kind of a holdover from them old days.
Oh, I don't think I'd say this change allows everyone with a mail ballot to vote and removes the additional procedure, because you can't take that mail ballot to the floor.
Yeah,
And
you
that
can't
would-
vote it. It will just be disqualified.
Right, you can take it to the floor and they'll,
You could vote it and turn it in and we'll collect it.
right,
Don't understand, and I don't know how many times we've had this discussion, even at board meetings, they're automatically disqualified when a master counter gets them.
yeah.
Can I,
Excuse me.
I know we're past this, but up at the top, that article in that paragraph, the bylaw amendment doesn't change, and it goes remains bylaw Article 3A1. I was having a heck of a time finding this. What it says in the bylaws is it's Section 1 and Article 5, Section.
Oh, you need to put section in front of the word one,
Yeah,
capital
'cause I'm
S.
looking
Yep.
all over for A1, and I'm going, what the heck?
It's
and
okay,
Article-
we got it.
Article 5, or it would be still Article 3, Section 5, B1. So that
Isn't
Article
it section
5,
1B1?
it's it's still section 3 or article 3, section 1
And?
and section 5B1, not
Oh, it's
article
section
1.
5B1, okay.
No, it's in a separate article.
But they're in the same article 3. They're just section 1 and section 5. I mean,
Now I'm totally confused.
I'm looking at the page here. It says Article 3, Board of Directors. So Section 1 talks about remaining in good standing. And it goes on down here, Section 5, Clause B1,
That's B1, not 1B.
B1, I.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay,
That way-
Article 5 committees on page 15. I think is the other part.
Yeah, then that's that Article 5, Section 1B, membership, and it says 1, members of these committees shall be members in good standing throughout the term and shall be appointed by the board except as otherwise provided herein.
Okay, so we actually have
So if
3
you're
different
on
chunks
an
of the bylaws.
elected committee, you have to be in good standing.
Yeah,
Okay, so 3 different chunks of the bylaw. Section, Article 3, Section 1 and Section 5.
And then Article 1,
no.
so you're correct on the first part. Bylaws, Article 3, Section 1, and Section 5, Clause B1. And then, as Nancy pointed out, over on page 15, in Article 1, Section 2A, talks about being a member in good standing also.
I think as long, I don't know do we need to have all these different bylaw sections or just make sure that we can refer to one that's real clear?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about trying to do a bylaw amendment and we're not, if it seems as though we're not being above board and as transparent as possible, there's definitely a faction within the valley that's going to say, no, we'll reject this because they're being nefarious. We don't know what they're trying to do.
So
Yeah,
Steve,
because
that
in
would say
Article A1,
Section 2,
it says, and Michael pointed this out, it says they have to be in good standing. Then if you read down to the bottom of the page, in Section 3B, it says it again. In order to be eligible for election, there must be a member in good standing and remain so.
Yep.
So Michael's right. Article 3A1 and Article 3, Section 3B refers to being in good standing.
So we're not Section 5, we're Article 3 from Section 3.
I'm
No,
saying
but-
there in Article 3, there's Section A, and it says A, and then it says Article 3, then there's so it should be really Article 3, section, take that A away and just leave 1. And then
take out Section 5, Clause B1. I was wrong.
okay. Now add in Article 3, Section 1 and Section, wait a minute.
Article 1,
Section
2.
3B. And then put the B in parentheses. Small b, baby b.
Okay, and then the other part about committees, what am I doing there?
Article 1.
Oh,
Section
that's
2A.
Article 5.
I was wrong on Article 5.
So it's Article 5 and it's a Roman numeral 5.
Yes.
And
It's
then
Article
it's
B.
Section 1B.
Section 1BI.
Gotcha. Good job.
Wait, so section 1B,
And then there's a little baby I. Yep.
like that.
Yes.
Cool.
It gets nuts.
No, it's fine. I just want to make sure we're doing it.
I
properly.
know. I hear you.
Okay, so back to this whole thing. So why are we removing floor balance?
Because it confused people and they didn't realize they were
Yeah.
throwing away the vote. Because no matter how many times you tell people, no, you can't bring in your mail ballots, you have to go get the special ballot, they forget.
Can
Or
we
they don't-
do? Go ahead.
Or they don't believe you because they see the ballots being collected.
Yeah. Floop. Oh, let's see.
Is that accurate?
This amendment removes ballot voting from the floor. Previously, to allow floor ballots, a special ballot had to be submitted manually at the meeting. People were turning in mailed ballots on the floor. They were collected and not counted. Technically speaking, prior to this change, let's see. Okay.
That should say had to be submitted.
Oh, good job.
There we go. And those mailed ballots were collected and not counted.
Yep. That's exactly what it says. That's exactly what happens.
Like that?
That's a funny way to say it, but it's what happens.
From thinking their vote counted when it didn't. Because they were actually voting, it just didn't count.
It should be when it didn't, not they didn't. It
Right.
Cool.
There's a they. There you go.
And you still need to put up at the other next line up, it says those mailed ballots were collected and not counted.
Yes.
All right. So
And
let's-
instead of a comma after floor, it should be a semicolon, I think.
There?
Oh, Rich is going to have a heyday with this.
Rich has got to be real busy.
Oh, that's not the word for it.
So that whole last paragraph can just go out the window.
There's a last sentence that there's something that starts, the nominations elected of the board of directors has, do we want to leave that all in there? Nancy, I'm leaving that up to you. I could make that go away, but the two thes, one of the thes have to go away.
Yeah. The
red
reason
camera is,
How could
I
they
had
allow?
put that in was if somebody really wanted to restore floor voting, it wasn't prohibited by this amendment. It's just the requirement for it. But yeah, it can just go away.
It's just, yeah, it's real confusing.
Ban floor voting
Says the amendment
permanently. maybe.
removes ballot voting from the floor. And now you're saying it doesn't remove it permanently.
Yeah, it's confusing. Just dump it.
We
I
gotta
would-
dump that whole last section in that sentence Steve's working on now.
Yeah,
That
I
completely.
think we've said it all in that paragraph above.
yeah. Yeah, you still got to remove that last paragraph.
Yep, last paragraph, Steve.
Yeah.
I was just reading through it again.
I know, I hear ya.
I was just, it was in there just for completeness, but if somebody ever wants to restore floor voting, they can figure it out.
And this shows what
actually,
the detailed changes are.
Oh, I know. This
Ah.
amendment moves the requirement to allow, or the requirement for ballot voting for the floor.
I just made a small change here.
No, I mean,
Basically
that,
calling out that this needs to be obtained. Basically trying to give more detail on the previous method.
Mm-hmm.
So before it was, there we go. So before it was, this amendment removes ballot voting from the floor. Previously, to allow floor ballots, a special ballot had to be submitted. I wanted to add in had to be obtained and then submitted. So it shows it's a longer process that we're actually getting rid of.
okay,
Okay.
yeah.
And then submitted, yep.
Manually.
And instead of people, we should do members because, you know,
Yep.
Yeah,
it's members, not just random people voting. Okay.
maybe unfortunately, members were turning in mailed ballots.
That's true. It's a complicated process, although this is easy compared to, I don't know about you guys. If you were Nancy, I know you were here. I hated proxies.
I think it just confused everybody.
Mm-hmm. You know what people used to do if you used to go to the rotunda, and you guys won't remember this, you would find everybody got their mail at the same thing. You would find the recycle bin full of unopened voting materials, and people never voted.
Nope.
Steve's fixing all this.
Does that work? Does that make sense?
I think there's a simpler thing, but I go down once. I think I accidentally copied at the very bottom a duplicate of this, and I'm bad, my bad. I got ahead of myself working in the documents. Can you go
It's in there
down
twice.
further a little bit? My internet connection is unstable. I'm getting a nasty message.
Yeah, it's this chunk here. Nancy was saying to remove it at the very, very bottom. I'm highlighting
It
it right
says,
now.
yeah, but it says underlined words, and it
Yeah.
shows that's the language that are easier, that's easier than the other.
I think we should move that to the top. So we're presenting them with it right up front so they know what they can easily read as they go through, instead of putting that at the bottom.
Yeah, this doesn't need to be there, but the underlined words are added. That needs to go where you were trying to put that language in
Yep.
before, where Nancy had the modified. Thank you.
Just to make sure that bottom paragraph that I have
Yep,
highlighted. we
don't
can get
need
rid
it.
of. Okay. Always doubling and triple checking just to make sure.
Yeah, you just need to go down to the, where it tells how detailed, there you go. That's real simple.
Well, that,
I
And I think it's absolutely correct. I've looked at it so many times, though, don't believe me.
I had one correction, Steve. On
Yeah.
the graph that starts with previously, just scroll up a little bit more. The word with in like sentence 2 is spelled WLTH. There.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see that. That's perfect. Thank you. I think it actually was WI, but it was a capital I, not a lowercase.
Yeah,
Because spell
There's
check wasn't picking it
also a
up.
funny X at the end of additional in that first paragraph.
Funny X. Yeah. It's gone.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all the changes, maybe?
Are we happy with this, guys?
Another double space. Thought I had them all. There we go.
why is the word all members got that funny blue line under it?
All
I bet you
members,
there's
funny blue
supposed to be
line.
a comma after it. I bet you it's all members, comma, in good standing. I wonder if there's supposed to be a comma. Oh, it only wants member. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't believe autocorrect.
Well, it would have been each member singular, but all members is plural. So I don't know what its problem is.
Oh, I see which, maybe it's probably the difference between each and all.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you got rid of each, that would go away, but since you're showing what you changed, it's gonna be there.
Ah, you're right.
Yep. And that's probably why it doesn't like that.
Yeah.
How come the thing, this bylaw amendment does not change the requirement is still in blue?
Where is it?
Oh, it's because someone's got it highlighted.
Not me.
Yeah,
No,
I think Nancy, you were highlighting it accidentally.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
So are we happy with this, guys? And are we done with this animal? That
Sure.
I can
Sure.
find this now in the documents and put it together to submit to the board? Because I
Yep.
have, I asked Glenn a week ago for place markers for our bylaw amendment, for possibly the NNE manual, and on an updated election calendar. And then I wanted to have a discussion, but it's got to do with being open and closing, and it's got nothing to do with us specifically. So we probably need to go into the next one. What time is it, guys?
Like,
8:30.
Oh, Lord. So the next thing we have the bylaw amendment. We're happy with that. Do we need to vote on that, Nancy? Do we need to vote on that, do we think?
Yes, I
Probably.
think we need to vote just for
For
completeness.
all right. I would make a motion that we adopt the bylaw amendment regarding good standing as amended to be presented to the board of directors.
approved. Second.
Yes,
Let's say,
I'm for, I mean, I can't see anybody on this in the screen sharing thing, so I don't know. I vote yes. I can't
Okay.
tell how
I think it's a unanimous vote. I think we all agree
Okay.
that we want to submit it.
Sorry to break in. Do you want me to stop the screen share?
No,
No.
Well, we got other stuff to work on yet that we need to use it.
Michael, do you want me to share screen?
I'm trying to get the N&E manual to come up and it's doing something.
In talking about the N&E manual, guys, I know I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I really think to try and add the board vacancy procedure to this is going to take more than just tacking it on the end of the manual. If you read the beginning of the manual where it explains what the manual's all about, the preface that's there, and I don't know, I think the board resolution is okay, but the preface needs to be changed because it only deals with AGMs and SGMs.
okay, but first, are we going, the board really wanted to have that in there. So are you saying you still don't want to have it in, or what are you saying, Linda?
What I'm saying is I think you guys need to look at it. We leave the N&E manual as it is. We can still use the third party voting. All that stuff's going to be something that you're going to deal with after the AGM. Because if we change it in midstream, that's going to change all of the AGM stuff that we've already submitted for some of the candidate information and that sort of stuff. And I really think it's going to be cleaner, and with everything that's going on, you know, you just wait, and then in one of your very first meetings after the AGM, you will know also if that floor voting goes away, and if the all members go away, then you need to change a lot of the manual.
Okay, so we just dump it and live with what we have.
Not dump it. I
Previously.
think that I think you guys can do that and work with it, but then maybe make it,
Oh.
instead of just a AGM and SGM manual, make it an N&E manual. Not necessarily that it's election, but it's the procedures that we do.
Yeah, I had already stuck in a title change from
I can't find.
elections manual to nominations and elections committee
I
manual.
saw that. I can't find mine, but there it is.
But if we're not, we'll just sit on it.
I think the board specifically said they wanted to have this addressed. It's real simple to add to it. We don't have to change anything in the nomination election. We're just adding a little bit about how to what it takes to replace a board member who steps out.
Yeah.
Term.
You know, but that's kind of, it's, how do I say it? It's something that if you put it in there, you're going to have to deal with the basic whole table of contents. When you get all the way down to 10, deals with elections, nothing else. I think you're going to, if you decide to fill that board vacancy, you should move these addendum things up, because that goes, these addendums go before that number 11. Am I making sense to you guys?
No,
I mean, addendums are supposed to be at the very end of everything.
Yep. I think if we just do it the way it is right there and send it to them, that they're going to say fine. And that's what they wanted.
I have a question for everybody. Did we finally add addendums to all of these different procedures? And I don't know if that just one page anymore, because there was an addendum A and it said addendum A, but then I didn't see addendum B or C. Did that finally get added in front of those very different?
They're not separate sections. They're all run together, but it's still the page numbers are right.
But I
So-
thought I saw, see, addendum 1, counting room procedures. Now, wherever addendum B comes in,
No, it says addendum A at the top.
Right. But no, what she's saying is addendum A,
there
and then we
should
talk
be
about
an
A.
addendum
counting
B
room-
below this somewhere. Where does
We
that
just go to
start?
He
B,
is right there.
but we don't say addendum B. That's
And
the
that's
point.
what we should do, is you have to put that addendum in there if you're going to add it as an addendum.
I agree. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Actually,
Keep
I'm gonna
going
cheat.
down. Oh,
I'm gonna cheat.
huh? Oh, I see what he's doing. Copy paste.
hmm
Yeah.
No,
Up higher.
up further. Up further.
More.
No, I think that's it, right? Oh,
Right
right there.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Click here. Paste that formatting. Now it matches.
And then we need addendum C where under election results, wherever that ends up.
The pages are all still the same
I
numbers
do.
currently, but. Do.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna do it and you got the addendums in there, you're gonna have to. Right there. Oh, good job.
Ah,
Okay, now, do we have the procedure plugged in there anywhere so that we can match up page numbers?
I think I copied some stuff in there.
Yeah, it's here. It's pink.
That
pink?
is,
Oh, there it is.
I'm just going to accept all these so it gets in there, and then we can edit as need be. Also, to find this document, I just searched for this in my email. If you guys want to make these edits yourself,
Okay.
Will you do me a favor? I don't know that I want to do those by myself. We need to change this and make it like today's date or something. If this is going to be our final date renewal, we're talking, this is what Rachel gave us to initially work with.
It would be, yeah.
Thank you.
but
And-
me making that change makes it so it's going to be harder for you guys to find because you were looking at what I had here.
I
Okay.
don't know that do we need that 11-1? If we've got 11 filling a board of director vacancy between AGMs, why do we need 11-1 down below there, right below there?
Because we have 11-2 as well.
11-1
Oh, because they're the procedure itself. I gotcha.
11-1 should have been the bylaw regulations summary. And
Okay.
that's what Michael wrote. And
As
emailed
long
us.
as it's exactly what the bylaws say, we can't change exactly what the bylaws say. That's what I'm not sure of.
I'm pretty sure I took it right out of the bylaw.
See, I know it doesn't say, for instance, the chairperson must notify to be accepted for 30 days. Board of directors may extend. That's just me. They're saying they can extend that period if they want,
Well, it
but it
says
has to
that,
be
and
at
it
least
also
30
says that they
days.
can
That's not in the bylaws.
Then maybe we can just say regulations summary. Including bylaws or some other, or summary of the
That's why I'm saying this still has a little bit of work to be done on it. And if I don't ask them by the 25th, if I don't ask them by Thursday this week and they approve it, we're down the tubes till after the AGM.
Okay, well, let's change, get rid of 11.1, this word filling a vacancy of a direct, no, leave that there. Go down one line where it says 11.1.
Yeah,
and
that could,
Right.
change that title.
to,
Get rid of that one and put in summary of bylaw, summary of regulations, including bylaws. Or just, that's poor wording.
yes, summary of procedure, including bylaws.
Okay,
Because
Good.
that's what this is it's a procedure for us.
okay. And then the next one is 11.2, and that's the board vacancy procedure.
Oh, and that goes to, okay.
11.2 board vacancy procedure. Got that in there. Again, I'm just getting all this so it's in here and written. I can adjust all the sizing and stuff.
That's cool.
So board vacancy procedure, we have nothing written for this yet.
But that's what's above there. That's what's confusing.
Now,
Shouldn't 11.1 just be board vacancy procedure? And because that's basically what it is.
okay, I just had, Steve had
If you-
written all that documentation and
I
I
know.
put it in. So we can just make it 11.1 board vacancy procedure and just use the thing we haven't done yet.
And that's kind of, you've basically, all I've got in there separately is that document is what I started with. And that's basically what 11.1 is the board vacancy procedure.
Okay, so we'll copy in the document we haven't looked at yet.
But that's already there. That's kind of this language. Oh, I see what you're saying. Partly, Mike, it's Michael's stuff. I think we're going to find, we can do that, but I think you're going to find that it's redundant.
In the
So what?
bylaws, Article 3 on page 20, Section 3, it talks about nominations, and then it goes Section A, nomination committee, and then it goes down. If a vacancy occurs at any other time, the nomination election committee shall solicit candidates for 30 days prior to appointment by the board. And it does somewhere on down here state that they can, well, maybe it doesn't state they can extend it if.
No, but that's the thing that's scary is it doesn't say that, but it says in there that the board endeavors to fill that vacancy. And it's almost like they're required to fill that vacancy, that this is a vacancy that has to be filled. And that's why if you don't have,
You're right. It doesn't say it anywhere, but it says that they have to fill that spot.
yes,
So they would have to,
they can't put it off.
but so they could, but extend the filing period, but it doesn't
Yes.
say in their
What
bylaws.
happens, Michael, what happens is if no one has applied by the 1st, what's scary is I've got to wait for a board meeting, which I think is, what's the first meeting in July, the 8th of the board? I have to wait and tell them we only have received one applicant because I have to get them to approve me for another 30 days. I don't think I can do that just by an email to them.
Okay.
But then you have to leave it, then you have to open it. That's where I get, that's why the 30 days is nice because normally it falls by board things, but when we extended it longer, it changes the dynamics of the 30 days and getting permission. Because the NNE really has no authority on its own
No.
to do that extension.
So I guess we would have to get rid of that statement there. Board of Directors may extend the application.
No, they can.
Well, they can, but we have to say it differently. That if there's not enough nominees, then we have to
Yes,
ask for a reopening of another 30 days.
or an extension, yeah,
An
yes.
extension.
Well, maybe we should go get that thing that, like Nancy said, go get the board vacancy thing.
Yeah, it's almost done. We can just get and paste it in either before or after Michael's.
I don't know if Steve can find it or Michael can find it and throw it in.
Well, it's on there. It's on a Google Doc.
Yeah, it's in a Google Doc already.
Yeah. While Steve's doing that, I will wander.
And see if you can find that other Google Doc.
Yeah. And what's it?
Is that
called?
a fair summary? Maybe needs.
Board vacancy procedure?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. It should say in where you're working, Steve, the chairperson of nominations election committee must notify the membership of the vacancy.
Okay, I have this here, but I
Where?
can't share it with till we're done. I don't think I can reshare a shared screen.
I can stop sharing if you want to have it. I'm not sure where Linda wanted me to make a change.
Do you?
Okay, second paragraph.
Second paragraph.
The chairperson of nominations and the chairperson of nominations and election committee must notify the membership of the vacancy and allow applications to be accepted for 30 days. See,
Okay.
we're convoluting stuff because in the statement above, it says the nominations and election committee to submit not less than one nominee more than the number of vacancies to be filled. We're just saying it in a different way.
Okay, if there are not enough.
Applicants during the application, the NNE needs to petition for an additional, yes.
Okay, do you want to pause there and look at this other document that you were talking about?
Go ahead.
We're
Cheers.
getting way too damn good with this, guys.
There's this one.
Yes.
And some of this is redundant too, but if it all gets.
Michael, would you scroll back up for me? I want to find that doc. I just want to see the title. All the way to the top. Oh, weird. Okay.
Mine says, oh, phooey.
It's okay.
Mine says board vacancy.
Vacancy procedure.
Can
There
you
we go. Okay.
see this one right here? Can you see this email that I got it out of? Board vacancy procedure, invitation to edit dated June 11th. That's from
I'm in.
Linda.
That's from me. I actually got brave and thought, let's see if I could put a Google Doc in there, and I can.
Mhm.
Okay. So our goal now is to edit this document and then add that as 11.2 in the other document. Is that right?
No,
Yeah.
I think I think you're gonna find that there's a lot of redundancy, what you've already put in 11.1.
I don't care. I'd rather have redundancy than not have it in, as long as there's not a contradiction.
Because the board point blank wanted it written clear and precisely that no one could even possibly come up with any improper interpretation.
Oh, God. Someone can always do that.
Well, I know, but they
Pay
were hoping to
lawyers
get it
for
so that it wasn't just by interpretation. And I had to respect them for that
Okay.
because I've watched 6 years of interpretation going on.
We have
Okay,
to be
well-
careful. Some of the writing I did in this, somebody modified, but I took the bylaws directly and somebody modified this in green. Oh,
I
Michael
did,
did. And you can't modify a bylaw wording.
but in the bylaws, it doesn't say, does it say elect or appoint?
It says elect there, but in a different section, it says they appoint.
Yeah, because that's what Joel.
That's what's, the bylaws themselves are confusing.
Yeah, Joel was saying elect, and I said, no, you're just appointing someone. They're not elected until the membership.
Yep, that's correct.
And so that's why I changed the wording, because they are not electing anybody. They're appointing someone to fill a spot until the membership can elect them.
I think because they said by majority vote, somebody decided that, oh, then we elect them, but it's really but we can't change the bylaw wording.
Okay, they elect somebody to appoint.
There's another section in the bylaws, oh, where is it? Where it actually says that it's an appointment. Just
And
a
that's
minute.
where I got it.
Oh, go back to section 3.
It is.
Go back to section 3 of the bylaws. And
I'm
it
here.
says in there, all I gotta do is find them. Oh, Lord, I got everything together here.
So Article 3, Section 6.
Section 6.
Yep.
That's vacancies, but there's another section.
Right, but let's read through that so we're mirroring
Okay,
exactly what the text
okay,
is there. So
okay.
could you read that for me?
Go ahead, somebody, me?
I mean, you've got it in front of you. I don't.
I
Section
have
6.
it here. If a director ceases to be a member of the board for any reason excluding temporary suspension as set forth in section 5, the board shall immediately request the nomination election committee to submit not less than one nominee more than the number of vacancies to be filled. The remaining director shall, by majority vote, elect the required successor from the nominees who shall serve until conclusion of the following annual general meeting. So I guess it is elect in our bylaws.
Okay. Michael, I highlighted here, right after where it says Section 5, it has the word above, which you didn't read. Is that in the bylaws or no?
Yes, it is. It says section 5
Okay.
above.
Okay.
Comma.
Cool. So we need to reject these changes.
Yep.
Was this part also at the end of the section?
And where are we here? Are we still in
The board shall endeavor to fill any such vacancies within 60
The board shall
parentheses.
endeavor
Yes.
to fill any such vacancies within 60 days.
Okay.
That's right.
Now,
Yep.
we talked about appointment. If you go to Article 3, Section 3A, it says in part, it writes in part, but it's not the whole section. Let's see, it says here, if a vacancy occurs at any other time, the nominations and election committee shall solicit candidates at least 30 days prior to appointment by the board.
Yeah, so that's where I got it.
Well, I mean, we could put both sections in here. I mean, that's not a problem, right?
No, and we should. It's that the thing that's confusing is where it comes up in this Article 3, Section 3. it's a big, long paragraph and it's only a portion of that paragraph. I don't know how you pick and choose. If I
Okay.
don't want to write a whole big paragraph, how do I just select part of that deals directly with what we care about? Does anybody know how to do that?
I don't, but I'm Googling it right now.
You know, that's a really strange paragraph in that
It's
the
and the second one I'm looking at, yeah, it deals with a million things.
yeah, it's like the sentence, if a vacancy occurs at any other time.
Yeah, and it's right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Because then it goes on about
Yeah,
how to apply for
nominees
the
and yeah,
AGM.
I hear you.
Yeah, I thought it was odd that it said any member may submit in writing to the N&E committee the name or names of eligible nominees. I could just start sending in names of people I think should be on the board. That's kind of crazy.
And then it goes on to talk about the annual election. So
Yeah,
I don't know what any member may submit in writing, whether it refers to the vacancy or whether it refers to nominating somebody for the AGM election,
yeah.
or both.
Board vacancies are described, that should say Article 3, Section 6, because that is the vacancies, but then it also talks about this Article 3, Section 3 quoted. Oh, excellent.
What is
All right.
Article 3, Section 3 titled?
Nomination of directors.
Let's just can that and go to Section 6 vacancies, because it doesn't contradict it. And there's more information in Section 6.
So you just, all right, I'm just saying when a board of director goes, hey, we elect, then we all know that it says, no, it's only an appointment. That's all I worry about, is somebody that if you leave that portion out, it's going to convolute it to think that they can elect. And some of the board members currently don't understand the difference between an election and an appointment.
Well, it says that where he started, he quoted director's applicable bylaw quoted that you could put there that the N&E committee shall.
No, wait, start. It starts with a sentence. Michael, are you there? I mean, Steve? If we're going to.
No, I was trying to find a digital version of the
okay.
bylaws so I could just copy and paste it, but I'm not finding it on our website.
It says
Gotta
if
go
a
down
vacancy occurs-
in resident resources.
I got it in my N&E manual here in print, but not in where you can copy and paste it. Do you
Yeah,
want?
I mean,
Do you want the whole thing in there though, Linda? That says
No, I just want that sentence that deals with that, with the vacancy.
well, to pare it down, the last half of the sentence says the nomination and election committee shall solicit candidates for 30 days prior to appointment by board.
But it also says at the beginning of that, if a vacancy occurs.
Yes, it says.
And I
if a
think
vacancy
I
occurs.
think that whole sentence should be in there.
Okay, if a vacancy occurs at any other time, the N&E committee shall solicit candidates for 30 days prior to appointment by board.
Yes, that's what should be in that part that's got
Okay.
nothing underneath it.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'll have to type it out. I found the resident handbook, but I'm still not finding bylaw.
Article 3, Section 3A.
Yep.
Section 3.
A.
Okay.
Ready? If a vacancy occurs,
You have section 3A already up at the top of it.
Yeah, that's fine. If a
at
vacancy,
any other time, comma, the Nominations and Election Committee shall solicit candidates at least 30 days prior to the appointment by the board.
sorry, solicit
Period.
candidates. Again,
Prior to appointment by the board, if I'm not
At
mistaken.
least 30 days, Steve, is what you're missing there.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry. I closed my book.
Okay. And that's the actual quote right out of the,
Yep, that's right out of the bylaws.
Is the punctuation correct?
yes.
Cool.
Capitalized, I think the word board's capitalized, isn't it, Michael?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, that
so
part's
we're
done.
okay with that. We're okay with section 6. Let's go down to the green. To be eligible for an appointment, all candidates be a member of good standing and remain so. Period. Candidates must submit a disclosure of interest statement to the nominated in the form prescribed by the committee by close of business when the, I like that. That's just perfect.
That's
I
right out
have
of the
no
bylaw.
arguments with that whatsoever.
That's Article 3, Section 3B, that quote right there. In order to be eligible, that whole thing is right out of the, that's section, Article 3, Section 3B.
Well, if that's section 3B, it should.
You want
go,
to put
right?
it down
Down
here by
below.
the green stuff,
Down here in
Steve.
the green, no,
In the green, way down to the green.
right here, just above, right there. Yeah, where you're at. That should say Article 3, Section 3B.
Right, but if this is Article 3, Section 3B, and we've got Section 6 above it, wouldn't it make sense to move that up?
I guess.
Oh,
Except that's really about the AGM.
it's true, but it's got the rules for the difference between appointments and elections. That's the only place in the bylaws that it describes that, to say that the board isn't electing a director for 3 years. They're only appointing until the next AGM.
Yep. And then we go on to Section 6. Well, actually, if we wanted to go in order here, if we put Section 3. or
We got
Article-
section 3A there.
Yep.
And we've got article section 3B, and then we've got section 6, the vacancy. That's correct.
Well, if
What
you
is,
on down below farther, didn't I
Oh.
put in the term,
I don't know. I can't see. Somebody's got to scroll.
I thought I put down in here the length of their term. But it may not, this isn't the document that I had, so, but we don't
Right.
have to put it
it's
in
at the
there.
very bottom,
Is it?
very, very bottom. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see it.
Yeah. So that is Article 3, Section 3C.
Article 3, Section 3C.
Yep,
Oh, and then he can just move that up where it goes.
yep.
Because
get it all in
typing is for
order, yeah.
suckers. That's the way it works. Copy and paste. Here we go. What was the title of section 3B?
It's all under nomination of directors. There was no title for 3B,
Okay.
and there really was no title for C. But it just, that's what's in that,
Yeah, the term of office. Yep.
yeah.
Is would
So
it be?
don't put that in there because it doesn't say that in the bylaws.
Nope,
Okay.
just leave it like that. Yep, right there. And then I messed up right there at the bottom sentence of whatever it says there, OSA of a unexpired portion of a term. All right.
So does that mean also I need to strip out vacancies? Or is
No,
that
that has
appropriately
to
done?
stay in. And you should put Article 3, Section 6, because you've done Article 3, Section 3. You need to do, there you go.
Right, but I guess what I'm asking here is, so section 3 is all about nomination of directors, right?
Yes. And then Article 3, Section 6 does have a title of its own saying vacancies.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I think we're all okay with that. Let's move down. We're gonna be here till midnight. No, if we get this done, we're done.
Right.
Um,
Now, aren't you glad we're not doing the attorney?
oh, no, then I would go down, then we would take a break and I would go down and get my Moscow Mule. And this is exactly what it deals with, is this very next topic in purple.
Huh?
Do we
the
need
highlight
what's in, so in purple, that should be there and it's explanatory itself. And so that could be purple. It doesn't need to be added. It is what it is.
Okay. So mark that as yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't know if we get rid of that space in between, but we should explain that it's part of an attorney opinion.
Space in
I don't know if
between.
I don't know if you
Where?
indent. See how there's a space between each candidate must be listed on the property deed? Then below that it says candidates need to be listed on the deed, not a bylaw, but part of an attorney opinion regarding candidates' requirement.
Okay. So indent the whole thing, maybe?
We need, I don't know if it's important to point out that it's not a bylaw, but the attorney basically has said that that's the only way that we can determine if a person, that they should be in the deed.
Is that acceptable?
Yes, I can live with that. It's explanatory. Okay.
What's the asterisk go to?
I don't know. I just put it there. It was fun. I was trying to like indicate that. Oh, I'm in the dark. Hold on a second. I'm gonna turn some lights on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Huh.
Guys, are you all dying because this is going so long? We're almost through with it.
Yeah.
Are
I'll
you
live.
all okay? I know this is this has not been an easy process.
Okay. So where are we doing now?
I'm trying to figure out how to get my cursor off the page.
Okay, the board will announce the resignation and instruct the entity chair to post notice to the membership and instructions for applying and the deadline for the submission. That should be there, or submittal, whatever.
I like submission.
Okay. We've got the next thing is good, and we can then, and it Article 3, Section 3 states that that's good. Number of cannot be received during the initial extension will be announced. Notification go out to the membership. Any notices will be posted. Entity will furnish the application forms to staff. This works just fine for me, and to change the cross out can be there. I'm fine with how the new purple is. As long as we say that there's hard copies and online copies.
Okay.
I like that, and a published date and closing time at the admin off, let's see. Yes. Let's see, a published deadline, date and closing time at the admin office on what? Oh, I see, there's a weird space in there. On that day will be included in the vacancy instructions. Absolutely.
Get rid of the 2 PM that's sitting in there.
Yeah,
That's crossed out though.
All
Okay,
that's going out of there.
Yeah.
Email
think-
forms will not be accepted. Yay. Okay.
Emailed forms, or should we do emailed applications?
Applications, good catch.
applications, yeah. And a period after accepted. Yeah,
That all looks good, number 7.
Yep, 7's good with the corrections. The purple, and there's an A added to the word board, but that should stay. I got an issue with the next one. I do not believe the board should include the order of the interviews.
you
I
don't
think-
believe
I
they
think either entity does that by the date that stuff was done, or we draw like we draw for the election.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nancy, currently, we'd be happy with what the board would do, but can you see that being abused in a different circumstance?
certainly.
Okay. So how do we want to, once again, even if there's 2 candidates, we just put their names and we just draw
Yeah.
a random draw of names?
Entity will
Yes,
draw names for interview order or something
Yes.
like.
A random drawing.
thank you. Yes.
There we go.
All it takes. It's just, I think about that, it feels funny, like it was so weird. And when this last time, everybody put their application in on the same day. That's why we need a different process than just date stamping them
Yeah,
when it's just a vacancy.
Hold on, we gotta update this. Whoa, that's tiny. How do I do that?
All right.
I think I should clarify that.
Yes,
Are we capital? Are we
capitalized
capital committee?
Thank you. Oh, we're almost there. I can taste it. It's so close.
I'm cool with adding chair.
Let's see, then any will schedule. It's really the chair that does it, because the chair works with the board to determine when that is. And that's the only person on the committee that talks to the board.
Yep.
What? The entity chair will schedule the interviews on an upcoming board agenda. Normally, interviews are done prior to the normal board meeting. A candidate is chosen by majority vote of the board members. The voting process and announcement of newly appointed directors is handled by entity.
Yes,
So is this saying that the interviews are done prior? Like, so,
they're when they happen. And I think you were part of it. You start early in the it either, depending upon the number of candidates, you either start at 6 or 6:30. You allow about 15 minutes for each of the interviews. I try to leave a little more time rather than less time.
Okay.
And then if somebody decides to speak, they get cut off. I don't think that's fair. but they're done prior to the normal board meeting at 7, that's normally their starting time. And then after that meeting is when the interviews are over, then the board votes. And I don't even want to go into what you do to do it by Zoom. I just say that the board will vote, and hopefully we'll never have to do Zoom voting ever again.
Is that okay?
I don't think we need to have that there, but it's
As early as
just,
6 p.m., yes.
yeah, all right.
And then that last sentence goes away. Yeah.
Yep.
This one too? No, the voting process.
Once the
last-
voting process is done, entity announces who the newly appointed director is, how the vote, because normally it's done by a secret ballot. I don't know if we need to put that in there, but it's normally done by a secret ballot. But that has to be done in an open session. That's not done in the closed interview portion. So it's a whole nother ball of wax.
Okay. So the candidate is chosen by majority vote of board members in open session.
Yes.
Spelling is really bad. I'm sorry.
Let's just say candidate.
Well, they're not a candidate at that point then, though, right?
Well, they're
How do
still.
I- They're
then the
candidate 'cause
appointee.
They're appointed.
How do I say it? They're chosen, but you're still talking about the process. Last year, there was an appointment made of just one person. It took 5 votes because the board continued to be tied. And then you have to go through a whole process, which I will not put in here. See the parliamentarian? I think it's written down somewhere, actually. But because you have to have a majority, if you have to have a majority of the vote of the board vote that person. And that's why it's set, because that's exactly what it says in the bylaws too.
Yep.
Yep, so that's the way it has to be. And if you have 8 directors who constantly both vote 4 and 4 and 4, or you don't, or they vote 4, 2 and 2, you don't have 5 ever. And you have to go through a process until you get 5 to approve someone.
Yeah, if you throw out the lowest vote.
Yep.
get-
Yep. But it's still a process.
So we do need to have that documented though, right?
What?
What you just talked about.
How do I say it? No, because it says the candidate is chosen by a majority vote of the board in open section using secret ballots. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's true. If a consensus isn't reached, the board must continue voting. Until a majority for a candidate is reached.
Cool.
Nancy, do we have to explain how you drop off?
No,
No, thank you.
we just said we have to get to a majority.
Yes.
I mean, you could, well.
And
What
that's
do we do
it.
in a situation where there's like 2 vacancies?
Okay, if there's 2 vacancies, there have to be at least 3 candidates. You take the first, you take and let them vote on the first vacancy. And then that person is, one of the 3 will be elected. then you fill the second vacancy with the one of the last two remaining. And you've fulfilled the requirement. I'm sorry, guys, I'm being wordy.
And the new director gets to join the board as soon as they're voted in.
Yep,
and
that's
gets
number
to
12.
vote on the next two.
That's true.
Cool.
Only one in recent history do I remember there being two
Yeah.
resigning at the same time.
Okay, so back to the other document. We're putting this in as 11.1.
Is it all just part of the process? Do we need to? I'll ask now, Nancy, you can decide what you want to do with that.
Well, we could put in both this one and the one Michael wrote. Or we could just put in this one, whatever. What do y'all think?
Well, part of it, you know, the part that Michael wrote explains.
That's right. They both have to go in.
They both have to go in, but I think it's all just one thing.
Yeah,
We're just simply spelling out, that's something that was never in any of these other manuals that's really so good about the manual that exists now. The only thing that's left is if you go to the very top, there's that preface that needs to be changed or modified. Because
Okay. Yeah.
What preface?
at the
On
very
this document
top
or the
of
other one?
the N&E manual.
Yeah. So on this, we're just going to have an 11.1.
Okay,
And it'll be both this draft and Michael's combined. So we'll put this first and Michael's second.
will you take draft off this thing? I think I put that up there foolishly. Or do you want Michael's first because it's all the bylaws?
he's
That's
just gonna-
fine.
And you can take out Sudden Valley Community Association too, if that got transferred
I
over.
think
to
he's
the-
just gonna copy this and take it over to the other document and put it in there. This one isn't gonna exist anymore.
I thought that Stephen already did that.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah, because these are weird numbers that are in here. And I gotta edit all this out because trying to actually add every single bullet that we've added, you know, the different
yep,
steps as individual agenda items in there, which is not ideal.
yep.
So I'm still sharing this screen and you're on a different screen now,
I'm actually at the bottom of that screen right now.
the one here.
I just removed all the numbers. Okay, so I think what we could do here with the procedure in the bylaw, in the manual, we've got two different segments here. First part is talking about all the bylaws that we're addressing for it.
Yes,
So that should be 11.1 in my opinion. The bylaws addressing,
okay. And then
Nomination.
11.2 is the procedure.
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
Sounds like a plan.
Now just to get all this moved over without blowing up all the formatting. Yay.
Do you want me to close this screen?
I'm on there. You can go ahead and close it if you want.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that. Not happy with that, but that's okay. Next up, I need to go. So I've got each candidate must be listed on the deed as the start of the entity section, the actual procedure. Or should that be up with the bylaws?
no, that's not a bylaw. That's part of the N&E manual and it's an attorney opinion only.
Can you put that on the screen?
Yep, sorry. Sure. This one. There we go.
Whatever we're doing.
Oh,
So that's the first part, and then I need to grab this bit. Copy that. Go down here. Paste it there. And this one's going to be called.
Hey, that works just fine.
Let's have that in. Let's have that in. Nope, not that.
Woo!
That was wrong. Wait, no, I want to have bullet points. Undo, undo. Well, where am I? Vacancies. One needs to be just specifications. I got lost. Sorry. Jump back to here.
See, I'm telling you, this ain't no small task here.
Okay. Copy that. Go back to here. Undo that. Undo that. Michael, this is what you wrote, right? If a director ceases to be a member?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll paste that there. We'll grab all of this. To here. We're going to indent it. Block text. Indent is this guy. And we're going to number that thing. So that's
Okay.
all addressed. That's there. So next up, sorry, guys, I'm just talking to myself as we go through here.
No, you're
I
okay.
apologize. That is the actual procedure. And then this is going to be bylaws related to board vacancy.
Yes.
Are we on board with this?
We are.
Oh, crap.
I think
Okay.
you have to change a size of font.
Yeah, I tried that. It got mad at me
Oh,
because it gets rid of the line.
yeah.
no,
Oh, I see. Wonder why it does that. I some of this stuff I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's breaking the formatting. I can't
Yeah.
figure out a way around it. We should
I don't
probably
think
put.
we have to be perfect.
Well, we got to be close. I'm kidding. We're good. So yeah, that's all the bylaw stuff.
There's
there.
a big, wait a minute, scroll up. There's a big blank right
Right.
there.
Right. So this is the first part, section 1 and section 2 of this area is what we just pulled from the other document.
Oh, so we need to
So-
erase what's down below here.
Probably. I think that's what we decided collectively a
Yep.
moment ago, but
Yep.
I wanted to be sure before I started killing stuff.
Okay.
Is all that somewhere in there up above then?
I believe it all is because this is what you typed from the bylaws,
Yeah.
right? So if
Yeah.
a director ceases to be a member of the board, and we come up to here, and if a director ceases to be a member of the board for any reason, excluding, it should all be here. Like we transitioned all of it over.
Okay.
I feel bad about deleting the stuff because I know you worked hard to write all this.
A lot of it was copy and paste, I think.
Is it 10 o'clock? My cat's up here telling me it's time for supper.
it's
9:30.
9:30.
Oh, he tries that sometimes.
Cats have their own clock.
Okay, so
Random A starts
we've
on
got
10.
everything done. I need you to go way to the top, Stephen, now that you're in the manual. And I
Yep.
need everybody to look at the preface, which is probably, what about he's doing the right pages. Oh, bless your heart.
And then these ones, we're going to accept it. Accept it. Oh, crap. Well, what did we title it again? Anyone remember off the top of their head?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know
That's
we
okay.
need to.
I'll go back and, where is it?
Oh, copy paste.
Bylaws related to board vacancy is what we titled it.
Yeah. Then we just need the pages. I don't know. Are the pages going to show up automatically, Stephen, when it extends itself?
If it was going to show up automatically, they'd be there already. So the formatting's not in the right manner, and that's okay. It's something I just need to scroll
Listen,
down
you
and
can fix it before you tell me it's final.
Well, it's going to be final as soon as we're done. So that's on 22. 21. So 20 and 21. All right, cool.
Okay.
Done.
Okay, so we need to go down now. Go
Do we need to-
to the page after the little after the
We
table
should
of contents.
approve the name
I don't
change,
even
though.
know what I'm doing anymore.
Shall we approve the title here first while we're here?
Yes.
Do we want
We
an
should.
elections, or do we want it just the nominations and a committee manual? Take elections out of there.
Well, wait a minute, we're the Nominations and Elections Committee.
It's the manual for our
Oh,
committee.
I see. I get it. I got it. We're good with that.
All right,
Yes.
we're good. There we go. All right. Hooray.
Okay, folks. Up, down, down, down. There. Whoa. This is where things have to change big time. Because if you read it, it says the purpose of this elections manual is to tell the procedures for the election process. And it shouldn't say that. It should probably say something like, the purpose of this manual is to establish the procedures and provide a resource for all future nomination and election committees, boards of director, and administrative staff. What do you think?
Sounds great. Can you say it again?
The purpose of this manual is to establish the procedures and provide a resource for all future nominations and elections committees, board of directors, and administrative staff. Does that make sense to you all?
Is that what you want right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the next paragraph needs, because see, that just deals with AGMs. And if you come to the end, it says the entity administration staff board will participate in a cooperative manner to ensure the integrity and efficiency of association annual general meetings and special general meetings, and to ensure that elections are conducted in a fair and impartial manner, as well as other entity functions, or you can say procedures, in that second paragraph, because so far all that says we do is AGMs and SGMs. So
Okay.
impartial and fair and impartial manner. Then just at the end of that, add as well as other entity, you can functions, procedures, whatever.
Well, that's down in the next sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what do I say? But we have somehow, then I need language in there, or you need language in there. We need language in there that says we're doing something besides AGMs and SGMs. So everybody help me.
Add the word appointments in there.
Or, yeah, appointing board vacancies.
That's so wrong. Come on, spell check.
And board
Really?
B, capital B.
VACAN. VACANCIES. Right?
I knew it was bad. I knew it was really wrong, but
And to
Come on.
ensure see here, the appoint vacancies and to ensure,
Wait a minute, wait a minute. It's after C and you've put an I. I
VAN,
before E except
I.
after C, so something else says,
No, it's IES because if it's a single one, it's a Y. I think that's right.
something's wrong, but I don't dare go to. Okay, it is.
Whew.
I know my spelling is bad. I use
haven't
Google
lost my
literally
touch.
all the time.
So, but we need to say, see, then after that, it says, and to ensure that elections are conducted in a fair and impartial manner. But that should be with everything we do, not just the elections.
To ensure that all procedures are conducted in a fair and impartial manner.
There you go.
I like it.
Now we need, that's fine. Now you need to go down to these procedures cover and we need to add a bullet that says board vacancies.
You're not going to try to spell it.
No, we've already established I can't spell. It's still on the clipboard. It was faster.
That's faster. All right.
I think that's it. It's just, we have that whole prologue just deals with like I say, this manual was only meant to be an elections manual. And it kind of convolutes things when you change it.
Well,
But
now
I think we've done it.
the headers say SVCA elections manual. Just
Oh.
can elections and make it SVCA manual.
And an e-manual.
I think it's an image though.
Oh,
Edit. Yeah. SVC.
I think it should be SVCA and an e-manual.
E.
Is that good enough for you?
yep, that works.
Over there. Is that right? Did I butcher everything? Yep, I butchered everything. That's fine.
That's at the top of every page.
Yep.
Yep.
Put B.
Oh, we're actually.
And that
leave some-
explains why I couldn't change it, because it's a drawing.
Says unable to load file. What's,
Yeah, I had to refresh. I don't know.
oh,
I
it's
broke
all
a
right.
thing.
It's all right. As long as it doesn't apply to me. I'm sitting here sorting through papers. So I'm going, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah, no, I'll refresh. Reload. It's fine.
I
I
think
think
the
by
last,
changing the top two, it changed it for all of them. I think.
Oh,
Yep.
look at that.
will you do me a favor if you're going through all of them? Will you look, the last one we submitted had a blank page at the end. And maybe with all we added, oh, see, it is there. Oh, tallies.
It's not blank.
There was another one after that, I think. Okay, it's gone. It could be with what we
It
added.
could have been. So if you look, I just removed 3 blank spaces. So
Okay.
it's possible that that pushed one of those lines onto the next page. So
Sounds
yeah,
like
it's done.
Plan.
So Linda, you want me to let you know when it's all final draft?
Yes, please. Just take a final look at it and let me know. I have
It's
to
good.
submit this tomorrow as soon as possible or tonight. AJ said tonight. I don't think it's gonna be tonight. I think it's gonna be early tomorrow morning.
I think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, I
Getting-
would,
Something.
I would submit this tonight. I mean, it's good. We've literally gone through the whole thing multiple times over, multiple passes. I think we're good to go. I also don't feel comfortable changing it all by myself. Because no one needs me to be dictating everything we do.
Hey, I like a lot of your wording and stuff. You
Yeah,
can
but it's
dictate
something
all
we
you
all have a
want.
voice on. Wait. Nancy just added this bit.
Huh?
We've got an edit here to add, which is fine.
Yep.
Oh, that's
C11 for
right.
board vacancies. Cool. Yep, we're done.
Okay.
All right, What's next on the
so
agenda?
We have taken care of 7 and 8. We're not doing 9. The next thing is the updated election calendar, and I sent this to you guys separately. There's still some undecided items on this, but I wanted to update it because things in June have gone south. I believe that we're still going to be reviewing the budget in the middle of July. So we're still right on schedule. The one thing I wanted you all to notice and just take a look at things, I think this is fairly accurate, and I'm going to ask the board, I'm going to present this to the board and ask them to try to stick with this. As long as we get commitment from them by the end of August, we'll be fine. One of the things I wanted you to notice is I have the 15th of October. It's when we will begin the vetting process. I still anticipate the packets will be mailed the end of September. There's an article online today about first-class mail that scares the daylights out of me, but that's still up in the air. The head of the Postal Service wants to change first class from 2 to 3 days to 4 to 5 days. And there's some real pushback with that, but we're going to have to wait to see what that is. But that's why I'm glad we will be mailing the end of September. That's the goal. And we're going to stick with that. You know, I know there's a lot going on, but if we don't, we risk missing getting stuff to our members. We have to remember that we still have people that live overseas in Canada, and, you know, they try to make sure those go out right away, but it also takes some of these people longer to get their mail. But I believe that if we do that, the first day that we're going to have to, and we'll put together a vetting calendar, but I think the first day that we will need to register ballots will be on the 15th of October. Do you guys want me to send you final copies with letterhead and stuff on it of the applications and stuff, or you're all okay with that? What do you want to see?
I'd like to get all new ones completed, and then I
Okay.
can dump this pile of emails I got
Okay.
and have the 4 or 5 of them completed. Because I have a mess in my email file.
Send good, clean copies of the candidate docs and an e-manual too.
Sure.
Okay. I can send that to you guys.
On the
That's just going to
calendar
stay
here,
the way it is. I think there's like a logo that goes on that first page, and I think it's still there, but I need to add logos on the top of the application documents and stuff. I anticipate our next meeting is going to be July 26th. And I'll let you know if there's any change in that. You know, like I say, I hope to have the materials to staff sometime the last week of June and before the 1st of July, just so they can get working on that. because if I need to ask for another extension for the board vacancy, I'll have to work with them because we have to make two separate applications for people.
In July and August, my Wednesday and Thursdays are shot. So I'm not available Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Just a
July
minute,
and
in
August.
August,
Just July and August.
Wednesdays and Thursdays,
Yeah, I
right?
have an event. I got my hot dog cart back out and my event. I'm booked
Yay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
We'll discuss a little bit more. I want us to go away tonight. It's late. We're all tired. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sticking with me, everybody. Rachel, sorry. It's just, we needed to do this. I'll get stuff to the board. I'll do it tomorrow morning. I'll take a look at the Google Docs maybe tonight or whatever, but it's 10 o'clock and I want to make sure I do a decent job of making sure they get them and stuff. I know the manual's fine, but I need to make sure that the applications are good. So with that being said, I think we have completed our work for the evening.
Hooray.
And with that, I would vote that we adjourn at 9:46 p.m.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I know this was such a push and it's why